Today I have Ryan Cauley on the show. Ryan is an independent broker, former real estate agent with a few brokerages,
Correct.
and then you went out on your own. So briefly tell me a little bit of history, how you got started, and kind of why you went from what most people do and then started your own brokerage. And are you happy with it?
Yeah, for sure. So I started with Keller Williams. I was there for about 3 years, had a great mentor. There was a family friend that kind of ushered me into the business. I was in real estate in a different facet previous to that, and wanted more freedom in real estate. Gave me that. So once I left Keller Williams, I went to an independent brokerage. I wasn't there very long before I jumped on with a fee-based brokerage out of Austin,
Okay.
which was a great fit for me at the time. I had my own book of business. I didn't necessarily need training anymore. I'd been involved in real estate in several different aspects, so I had a good working knowledge. And then, of course, the training I got at Keller Williams was great, and the mentor I had. So the fee-based brokerage was great because more money in my pocket.
When you say fee-based, briefly, what is that? How does that compare with a normal brokerage?
So a traditional brokerage is going to provide you a lot of things, or at least they should, for the amount of money that they're
The training,
taking. So there's a much heftier split in most cases with the traditional brokerage. Keller Williams, for example, you have different layers and they have different caps. So once you bring enough money into that brokerage, you cap and you keep 100% of your commission, 100-ish percent, because there's always going to be that small fee. And you get a lot of support, a lot of training. You get their brand awareness, their logo, which is universally recognized.
Yeah, of
So you get a little more backing with those things, and a lot of newer agents definitely need that. A lot of agents will always need that or want that, and that's great for them.
recognition and
Yeah, and a support system. I've always been kind of independent and a little introverted, so the support system was great, but not something that I desperately needed or wanted. And just kind of like to do things my own way, which can be not as advantageous, sometimes. But anyway, so fee-based brokerage. That's a brokerage that provides all your standard things that you need as an agent: E&O insurance, CRM systems, transaction coordination, things like that. But they're not providing leads. They're not providing support. They're mostly built for veteran or experienced agents that don't need a broker's assistance or help, are very self-sufficient, and you pay a small fee into that brokerage on a monthly basis. They have different plans, of course, but for this example, I was paying $199 a month, but everything I did, I kept 100% of my commission.
Wow.
$199, period, is all I paid. And that's great for people that have their own book of business and relationships and the ability to cultivate their own business. For somebody that needs leads, that maybe isn't as experienced in trying to build their own business or that sales kind of background, it's maybe not a good fit. And it's worth the amount of money they pay into a traditional brokerage, because ultimately that leads to more income for them. For me, the fee-based brokerage was perfect because I had the things I needed, the requirements. I had a broker that was there for support if I needed, and I kept all of my money or more of my money and still had the same supports digitally through transaction coordination and stuff like that. So,
Well, it sounds like a great deal. So why
yeah.
just jump ship and go risk it all yourself?
Yeah, and I think you could always, traditional brokerages may hunt me down for saying this, but I think other agents should at least try it. But it was really hard for me to jump. As confident as I was about it, it was really hard for me to leave that support that I knew I had, or that lead generation that I knew I had from a brokerage that was pouring a lot more money into it than I was. But once I did, I never looked back, and it was the best decision I made for me. Not for everybody, but for me.
Right.
But yeah, it begs the question, why do agents pay so much money into a traditional brokerage? And there's a lot of value there, and everybody has their own value or where they place their value. And for me, it was freedom, keeping more of my money and doing business the way that I wanted to do it, which was building relationships and nurturing those relationships.
Were you nervous when you
Yeah.
you left the safety net?
Oh, yeah.
And then what's the brokerage called?
My brokerage, Oak and Stone Realty Advisors.
Oak and Stone Realty Advisors.
Correct.
So you got a safety net, you're feeling confident, and then you decide, here's my name, got an LLC,
Yeah.
start a real brokerage. Walk me through that mindset.
I think pride had a lot to do with that.
You wanted to challenge
maybe
yourself.
a little bit of ego.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do, while I could do things my own way, I was still representing somebody else's brand, growing their brand. And I just wanted something of my own.
Uh-huh.
And it was a lot of work to get it going. And some days I think, oh man, it was nice just writing, having that monthly payment,
Right.
and
Not worried
still
about
keeping
anything
all
else.
my money.
Yeah.
But in the end, I'm very happy, and I think I have the option to grow it as big as I want, or not grow it if I choose.
Well, you said kind of the ego, the pride, the challenge of it. I know when I come up with a new idea within my own business, because I own two businesses, and you kind of get complacent, right?
Oh, yeah.
You sit there, and I imagine you were in a similar situation, and then you just make that jump. You know you can do it, but at the same time, you're kind of going, damn, was this a
Yeah.
good idea? But it forces you into that kind of, I have to make this work, because if I don't, I'm kind of screwed.
Yeah, and I think I fell, in the beginning, I definitely fell into what I refer to as analysis paralysis. So,
Stuck.
yeah, I was so stuck. And maybe still I exhibit some of that behavior, because I'm like, well, what about this? What about this? And I break it down to the point where I'm actually getting nothing done, which is very counterproductive. So still growing, still learning in that way. But I'm happy with the decision. And as I bring agents on, if I choose to do that, that's the only way for a brokerage to truly make money, unless I'm producing a massive amount, which, it's a comfortable amount. But as far as passive income, that's
You have to have a team.
Yeah, made off of agents that are producing for you. And that's one of the big reasons I left and went to an independent brokerage to keep more of my money, is because I think that real estate agents, they work really hard. And sometimes with not that much success with the amount of effort that goes into it. So the conundrum I had was, bring a lot of agents on, have that traditional split like a traditional brokerage. But again, I think that's counterproductive to what my goal was and what my views are on the business itself. Because I know how much work they're putting into this. And while I am covering a lot of expenses and doing a lot of things for these agents and supplying a lot of things, especially my time and education, training, I in the back of my mind feel a little bad taking that money or making them pay into me. And it contradicts the whole reason I did this to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I battle with, is what's
But
the
you get
happy
to
medium?
decide, because it's your business, how the people that work for you are compensated.
Correct.
Like there's a great joke. It was this guy. He's a construction owner. He's a roofing company, right? He pulls up to the job site in a brand new truck, and one of the workers was like, "Man, that's an awesome truck." He goes, "Hey, man, if you put in the hours, you work really hard, and you do this every single day, I'll be able to buy another truck next year."
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't jive with me,
Right.
And I think that's great. I think for capitalism, it's fantastic. This country has created quite the environment for that.
Yeah.
But the softy in me may be saying, I want more fairness, and
Yeah.
I don't feel that I've necessarily earned the right to take their hard-earned money away from them. So that's what we're trying to figure out right now, is while I want to help agents grow, and I want to not necessarily, train them, obviously, because that's a requirement of a brokerage, but I want to help them reach their full potential in a way that doesn't sacrifice their income or
Right.
their livelihood.
Well, you had said, previous to starting the cameras, you had talked about giving back.
Correct.
So Murphy, everybody knows, 5% of our profits go to animal shelters. If you're making money and everyone's happy, and you have these charities or things you're passionate about that you're giving back, that's a whole nother version of not taking it all to yourself and being this capitalist monster.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're giving to?
So we do a lot of donating and just work and following with Folds of Honor, which is a fantastic, fantastic organization. Whether it's golf tournaments, the gala they have each year, just supporting them wholeheartedly.
And that's veterans.
Correct, yeah. So I found them actually on my own just through golf tournaments, but it was a great fit because my father-in-law was a colonel in the Air Force for special operations, and throughout our marriage and relationship, I've learned a lot about what they've had to endure. Fortunately, he came home unscathed for the most part, but he did several tours through different wars, and there was always a chance that he didn't come home. And what Folds of Honor does is supports these families whose parents are wounded or mortally wounded and don't come home, and helps them with education. And I would encourage anybody that hasn't heard of them to go look at them and what they're doing, because what they do for these kids who have lost their parents to war is amazing.
Right.
Truly amazing. So we do a lot of work, and I would say that's our main focus, is trying to support them however we can.
And I feel that's very important. As a business owner, first of all, whatever you think about the United States or other countries, it's one of the greatest countries on earth.
Right.
You have the ability to create whatever you want here. So you're in the upper tier of the entire world. And I meet a lot of business owners that don't want to give back. And it kind of baffles me that you're in the 1% of the entire world, and just a little bit of your money can go towards something incredible. And I think it's extremely important.
I think this country has done a lot of really great things and a lot of great opportunity, but it has also cultivated an environment and society that has placed
greed
has taken over.
Right.
And then, not to get too deep into that, but the giving back part, let's look at the tax advantages. You want to keep more of your money. It's whether, I think you should be donating to something that you're passionate about, but at the end of the day, you're kind of minimizing the amount of money you're truly giving away to the tax system.
Right.
By giving
They're
back
not going
as
to
well.
spend it the way you would.
Yeah.
So
So there's different advantages. Perspective, I guess, matters.
Right. Yeah, and it is that. I always feel like we're in such an unbelievable environment. Like, what are the odds out of the 8 billion people on Earth that you grew up here and you have the ability to do this, and it just comes naturally?
Yeah.
You got to give back.
I agree.
So
find something you're passionate about, give back.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so brokerage, you're on your own. Now your wife is involved, yeah?
No, she has her own business. So.
And she's in real estate, or?
No. She's in advertising. She deals with higher education.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's you, and then how many are on the team?
It's just me, myself, and one other agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're looking, obviously, to reach out.
Yeah, definitely open to taking in new agents. Would love.
We're going to put all your information in the description. So if you want to join Ryan.
Yeah, please give me a call. Great environment.
And he doesn't want to take all your money.
Yeah, very laid back. Reach a reasonable agreement. I want to see people flourish, both financially and
So
professionally.
when we meet back here in a year, you're going to have how many on the team?
Well, like I said, that's something that I'm trying to figure out where I want to be. I'm not trying to grow fast and quick, because I have been a part of teams that have done that, and it was not. It wasn't great. It wasn't great for anybody. With the best intentions, fantastic people.
Yeah.
It just sometimes it's hard to control that, and it kind of snowballs, and I think it takes away from real development, or as far as what I'm trying to accomplish.
Right.
So I'm not trying to grow. I'm very comfortable with where my business is at personally, and the relationships that I've built and the portfolio that we work on. So that's not it's not a huge goal of mine to build this massive team. Now, do I miss out on a lot of money that way? Maybe, yeah. But I'm okay with that, knowing that I'm treating people fairly and helping them grow.
There's a balance in life, of course. With Element Inspection, I've had a few offers to purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that are always too good to be true are exactly that.
Yeah.
And it's always a purchase with, you're going to work in the business for X amount of years. And the ones that are in they write down a number on a piece of paper and you go, are you kidding me? That's huge. Like,
Yeah.
I would never expect to be paid that.
Right.
But
What
below
comes
that
with
in the
it?
fine print
Yeah.
is, we own your soul,
Yeah.
essentially.
For 5 to 7 years.
Yes. And it just, that's way more money than I could even fathom that I could earn in that time period. But I don't want to give them my life in
Yeah.
exchange for it. And it kind of sounds like you're in that same boat. You'd rather have the balance of life. Cash, yes, but time, freedom, enjoy the company of the people you love.
100%.
Yeah.
And I want my agents to have the same balance.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to come join Oak and Stone and you want to hustle and hustle and hustle, then I'm here for you. I'm here for
prerogative,
you.
yeah.
I'm always here for you. My phone is never off. Text me, call me, email me. One of the most responsive people you will ever meet in the business. And I'm here for people, but balance is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't put on this earth, in my opinion, to slave away and work and work and work and make money that is essentially going to someone else. At the end of the day, we've turned into a society that is all consuming, and we're just making money to stay afloat. And I think there's more to life than that. And I hope that.
Do you travel?
I do travel,
Yeah.
quite a bit.
There
Yeah.
you go. Everyone that travels and has been out of country says almost that phrase,
Yeah.
which is, I'm not here, I don't want to work.
Yeah. Well,
I want to work to live, not live to work.
Correct. Working is a necessity, but really, I want to give my best to people.
Yeah.
And leave a mark that is something outside of just, oh, well, he was very successful financially.
Right.
It's not my end goal. I want to be able to afford things for myself and my family and others, but I'm not going to put myself in a grave to do that. So we get one shot at this, and I want to make it worth it.
There you go. It's the right attitude.
Yeah.
A lot of times with that attitude, you can go pretty far anyways.
I hope.
It's the people that are just chasing the dollar signs,
Yeah.
and the fancy watches and nice cars.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they get there, and they're kind of, because that was the pinnacle in their head.
Right. Well, it's what we've been
Programmed.
Yeah.
They get that, the nice BMW, the Rolex, and the fancy whatever they're after.
What's next?
And then, they're kind of like, well, that's what I was going after. And they stay right there. Whereas the achievements in life, people are like, I don't care that much about this, but I have this vision,
Yeah.
this huge vision, oftentimes achieve a lot more. Just kind of organically through, well, we need this guy to facilitate this, we need here, and it grows massively.
Yeah.
So with that, though, one of my biggest challenges has always been hiring. I think I've gotten pretty good at it now, but it's taken a long time to figure out that the culture. One of the questions I ask is, how many days a week do you make your bed?
Hey, that's a great one. Yeah.
Because if you're a boss that only makes your bed once or twice a week or never,
Yeah.
and you find this kind of militant guy that's like, every morning at 7 a.m. and I
Right.
tuck the sheets and pull it and it's perfect,
Yeah.
you might clash a little bit. And so I come up with a couple of questions like that that fit, because I make my bed every day.
Right.
But I meet people that just absolutely no. I just roll out of bed and, well, how
Go
often do
on.
you wash your sheets?
That's probably more telling.
Yeah. So, but with that, it takes some practice. So,
Oh yeah. To get in the rhythm, and it's easy to fall out of, like working out or anything else.
yeah. What do you think? What are the traits that you're looking for in your next team member? Do you hire to your weaknesses? Do you?
For me, I'm not. They're going to be independent agents. Yeah, they're
Of course.
representing Oak and Stone. So at the end of the day, I want them representing that brand well. And for me, in the business that I've built, honestly, hasn't been about hustling. You know, I work very, very hard for my clients, and I have made a lot of sacrifices concerning my family and other aspects of life strictly for my clients. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't change that for anything. It's learned, it's taught me a lot. But I want somebody that knows what their duties are. And I think with the massive influx of agents that we've received over the last few years, the fiduciary obligation and the trust that you should build with somebody on a transaction that's probably the biggest one they'll ever make has been lost or diluted, especially with everything you see in the headlines now, everything regarding the changes that are being made.
Of course.
We've lost that trust a little bit. And I think that's a massive, massive thing in our industry. So for me, bringing agents on, I want somebody that cares about other people, how they're treated, willing to sacrifice to make sure that those obligations are being met, and somebody that really just cares about their clients. Because it's not, ultimately you shouldn't be focusing on one transaction and that's it, on to the next one. You should be cultivating that relationship so that it's not one transaction, it's a client for life. And that's how you build a successful book of business. So I think relationships are huge, and that's what I want our brand to represent is, one, trust above anything else, and respect for our clients, and really protecting them in all aspects of a transaction. And we're speaking for them, and we're negotiating, and we're doing things for them that are kind of outside of their view. And so whatever you're doing behind closed doors and communications with other agents on their behalf needs to be held to a very high standard. And I want people that take it as seriously as I do and value it as much as I do, the fact that these people are trusting us with such a large investment.
Probably the biggest purchase of their life.
Likely. And if not, then those are great clients.
Right, yeah. They got bigger pockets than that. Yeah, that's always good.
But yeah, I want people that are a part of my team that really love what they do and put the client above anything else. Mm-hmm. It's never,
And those are the agents that I've met over the years that have been very successful. One of the top producing agents that uses us religiously, he has called me and said, hey, this customer is kind of emotionally attached to this house, but I have a gut feeling because the inspection was just so bad.
Right.
I mean, the house was abysmal. He said, I got a gut feeling in like 6 months they're going to be calling me going, this house is murdering me.
What did you do?
Yeah, and you put us in this house.
Yeah.
And so he goes, can we get on a 3-way call, and can you not necessarily talk them out of it, but explain, why your spidey sense was tingling on this one, and say, hey, maybe not the best option. And I did that. And, it's odd that an agent would ever talk someone out of a sale.
Usually it's the other way around.
Right. A lot of agents call me and like, hey, man, I need you to downplay this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry. Like, ethically, I can't tell your client that it's fine.
Oh, ethically,
But we had the conversation. The guy said, you know what? I see it. Okay. He backed out. Maybe 7-8 days later, they had another house under contract. I got a second inspection out of it.
Right.
Which was nice. But the house was pretty clean. A lot of stuff was just marked, inspected, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They ended up buying the house. And then forever, this guy goes, man, my agent, he talked me out of a crapshoot, and he put me in a beautiful home, and he had all these other vendors working with me and cultivated this trust, and he's a client for life.
Yeah.
And that's why he's a top producer.
Right.
Not because he's calling me up, Lewis, can you not put this on the report?
Just to get a deal done.
Yeah.
Which ultimately leads to a paycheck. And I think once you
short
start
term though.
Yeah, once you start putting your clients' needs ahead of your financial needs, it'll serve you well.
It does. Yeah. Every time. I've seen that so many times play out because we'll do a little over 1,000 inspections this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
We've grown a lot. And in that time though, I've met thousands of agents. And I've seen them come and go.
Yeah.
And it's the ones that have cultivated the relationship, even at their own financial loss, end up making so much more money and staying in the business for a decade.
Right.
Because of that.
It's already a pretty high percentage of people that fall out of the business in the first 5 years.
Yeah,
probably
huge.
one of the highest ones around. So,
You know what the highest success rate of any business is?
No.
Laundromat.
Laundromat. Yeah.
95% success rate if you open a laundromat.
I've got a buddy that has a couple of
So
those.
open a laundromat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that market's been cornered a little bit by
Yeah, if you can get in though.
Yeah. But yeah, it's great, especially with the way, watching him grow and, watching it from start to where it is now. Just the equipment that's there, the systems they have in place. I mean, talk about self-sufficient.
But there's no glamour in saying,
Oh, no.
I own 6 laundromats.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're cash flowing six
Right.
figures.
Yeah, they're the one driving the BMW to work.
Yeah,
And
right.
and the real estate agent that loves the cameras and like putting their face everywhere. I'll
Yeah.
sell your house.
Well, marketing is a big part of it.
Of course
but
it
yes,
is.
But to your point,
They
yeah,
get
it's-
that pop.
Yeah.
And the laundromat done, but the guy with the laundromat's
Yeah.
making the money. But to your point, yeah, it's a huge just drop off. The first 6 months you see them just die.
Yeah.
And then the ones that can make it through that usually don't go through the ebb and flow,
Right.
one full cycle of a real estate market.
I think it's going to be exponentially worse here in the DFW area because our market was so unbelievable it's been good for a long
Years.
time, but 2, 3, 4 years, it was nuts. And not anybody, but most people could be successful if you just had a pulse.
Yes.
So I think we'll see some significant changes over the next few years. And even right now, things have slowed pretty dramatically.
Aren't there 30,000 agents in DFW?
Oh, I would say more than
Because
that.
there's 150,000 agents in Texas.
Yeah, I would.
So I suspect in DFW there's close to 30,000 real estate agents.
Probably, yeah, or maybe more. I haven't looked at those numbers in
There's
a
just
while.
not that
but-
many people.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people here.
There
but
are,
as we
but-
see, once the market's saturated and buyers recess,
We'll see some
we're
drop
back
off.
into a
Yeah.
more stabilized-ish market. And
Right.
people aren't used to that. A home sitting on the market for 145 days, oh my God, what's wrong with it?
Right.
Well, nothing. It's
It's
not the
real
feeding
estate.
frenzy that it was.
Exactly.
So that'll take some adjustment. But yeah, laundromats, good business if you can get into it. If you can find a good investor.
Laundromats. Maybe we'll talk about that next time. You're gonna
Yeah.
be like, "Hey man, I got out of real estate. I've
Yeah.
got 3 laundromats now."
Yeah.
No.
I bet funeral homes are good too. Something that wedding venues and funeral homes.
Yeah.
Thinking about things that are always going to be happening. People getting
You always
married.
gotta wash
People are
clothes.
going to die. People are,
Yeah.
got to wash clothes.
Always need diapers.
Yeah. Diaper manufacturing.
Things that people always need. Real
Yeah.
estate.
Real estate is something you're always going to need.
All right.
Yeah.
So, started your own brokerage. You're starting the team. You're growing. You've done multiple steps, and now you're at not the ground level, but just above the ground level of building your own little enterprise here.
Mhm.
So, what's the next move to get to the next point? And then,
As far as scaling,
Yeah.
I don't. I think that takes me back to what my desires are. I think that my goal by the end of next year would be to have 5 or 10 agents, good agents that love where they're at, that love what they do, and are very good at what they do.
Yeah.
I'll be totally transparent. I'm not. I've taken on and I've mentored new agents, and I'm happy to do that. But what I'm looking for are people that are a little bit more experienced.
a little self-sufficient.
Yeah, a little self-sufficient. Granted, I'm here for anything that they need. I just, if I'm going to scale, I'd rather have an experienced team representing the brand that I know does good work and that I know has the trust and respect of their clients.
Yeah.
And that's what I want the brand to represent. If you see that logo or that name, without any uncertainty that you are going to be respected, you're going to be protected, and you're dealing with people that know what they're doing. So, end of next year, maybe grow to 10 agents, and that may be it. I may cap out at 10 agents, and that's all I want. I have my own brokerage, and that's great. Growing is obviously the way to financial success, or independence rather. But my clients will always be my number one goal. And that's essentially why I created this business, so that I could do things my way and protect them and give them the best possible service that I can give them. So I haven't, bringing it full circle, I haven't thought about scaling as much as a typical business owner would, because I think
You would
about
do
my
it more
clients.
organically.
Yeah,
right?
totally organically. We don't buy leads. It's something we may look into in the future. We don't do a whole lot of marketing. We're
Sometimes
very-
that speaks quality, though.
Yeah,
If you're getting the word of mouth only.
right, and that's our entire business.
Yeah.
Strictly relationships, referrals, and we're happy with that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, well, I know you and I will keep in touch, but let's revisit like this in about a year.
Yeah.
And then you can name all 5 to 10 agents that you have on your team.
Yeah.
But I appreciate
Give me
you
a
coming
call.
on. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on today. I'm going to put Ryan's information down below. You guys can contact him, and you'll see some of this on his social media and mine. But appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was good.